What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? We are live in the flesh. We are back with another episode of Walking Against the Current. Let's go. You know I love my sound effects.
Yeah, I love them too. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Mom,
That
how are you?
is, man, I am that I am.
I am that I am. That's a good one.
Yes, tonight has been busy. Today's my youngest son's birthday. Good evening tonight. Good evening, audience. But we are still here.
Yes.
We are still here. So tonight we're going to talk about something that's kind of heartfelt, but I think it's important. And I'm going to start off with my opening line. You know, I love my opening line, son.
Let's get it.
All right. Sometimes the heaviest weight we carry aren't the ones people can see. They're the quiet expectations of our parents, the unspoken rivalries between siblings, and the ache of wanting to be fully seen in our own family. Tonight, we're talking about mothers, fathers, and the weight we carry, the stories we don't tell at the family table, the laughter that hides the pain, and the love that keeps us trying even when it hurts.
Okay.
And that's a powerful sign because sometimes in family, there's just so many weights that no one can see. You know, you carry it internally, you know, because there's so many dynamics that aren't talked about. You got sibling rivalries, you got parent anger, you just have so many things that no one speaks out loud. Sometimes your kids talk about you with each other, but there's just a lot of times of pressure being a mother, a father, a sister, a brother. It's a lot of weights that come with family that I kind of sort of wanted to dive in tonight.
Okay. Well, I guess we could start with what is weight, right? I guess weight would mean emotional, financial, spiritual, or relational, right? The invisible expectations that parents rarely voice.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness.
Because I know for me, right, being a young father at 19, oh my God.
Yeah.
Father, and today's my brother's birthday, and he's 19.
Okay. Oh my God. I didn't even put that together.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh wow.
Can you imagine Sammy being the father right now?
Don't put my boy down. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm just saying.
No, I can't because the generations have changed between you and your brother. I mean, Sammy came up with all of these technology that even wasn't even there when you was there.
Right.
So when you was growing up, so no, I cannot.
Yeah. So it's crazy to see my brother be 19 years old today, and to know that when I was his age,
wow, I didn't know about that.
I had a baby.
Wow, married and all, married with children.
Got married after that, but matter of fact, married with a baby, like at 19. That's crazy.
Gosh, it's just until you said that I didn't even realize that we were standing here. How many years ago? 13 years ago, 14 years ago. And you was getting married. And today my baby boy is 19. And wow, I didn't put that together.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that all day.
Wow. No, my son, no, I can't picture my baby being married, but
Well, not at 19 at least.
No, yes. Let me be clear because our words are so powerful.
Right.
I do picture him being married to a mighty woman of God. Yes, I do.
Right.
But when he's old enough and got a good job and he can support him and, some of the pressure's off.
Man, and that's what we'll talk about tonight. Talk about pressure.
Pressure and weight.
The differences between how moms versus dads express pressure. Because I know as a father, as a man, I deal with a lot of different pressures of life, of society. And it's deep, man. It is so deep. And like what I tell you all the time is like, you carried me for 9 months, but I think like since I've been born, I've been carrying bills ever since. Check
it out.
And I'm grateful for that because, my mother taught me at a young age, being, 16 years old, how to pay bills. But really younger than that, my father had me, and I shared stuff with y'all plenty of times. My dad had me when I was young,
right?
Young, 11, 12 years old, going to Pathmark, Western Beef, which is equivalent to like a Food Lion down
I was
here.
getting ready to say, they don't know nothing about no Western beef.
Right.
But we might have some New Yorkers on.
It's equivalent to a Food Lion down here, buy low. But my dad would have me go out there, 10, 11 years old, 12 years old, and he'd drop us off, me and my cousin. And we're like, yo, whatever y'all do out here today, making money, we would like help older people or just anybody to their car with groceries and help them put it in the car. He was like, who gonna tell kids no?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We
Especially when they're out trying to do an honest living.
trying to make an honest dollar. And whatever we made for the day, my dad would double it. Well, match, excuse me. So if I made $20, he'd give me $20.
Man.
So I learned at a young age, 9 to 11 years old, the value of money. And then my mother will always show me and teach me, like, yo, you want to drive? All right. You want to pay for your own car insurance? When I got my first job, I had to help contribute some of the bills in the house.
That's right.
Not because she needed it. She was trying to show me as a young man the importance of stewardship when it comes to finances.
Oh my goodness! Last night I told Sam that I was going in my car to get something, and Sammy was going out. He was rushing out the door before me, and I was like, "What you doing? What's going on?" It was late.
Yeah.
And he was out going to buy something. He had ordered DoorDash, and I'm like, "Oh, you got money like that?" Because he just got his first job. Well, not his first job, but he's working, making decent money. And I was like, "Okay, time for you to start getting on the bills, buddy."
For sure.
It's time for you to get on the bills. So he was like screaming, like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah." It's time. You're 19 years old. You got to contribute. Like you said, not because I need him to, but because it teaches him those values of learning how to budget his money and not just eat DoorDash all day long.
Yeah.
I mean,
because during that time when I was 16, I bought a pair of sneakers every week. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
I mean, literally every single week I had a pair of sneakers. I mean, I had so many sneakers, it was crazy, in every color.
Lawrence was, I know I said it before on the podcast, but you was voted best dressed.
I was voted best dressed.
He had to live up to the expectations. So, so those early values teach you, or taught you, should I say, just about knowing how to budget. Mm-hmm. You're not buying a pair of sneakers every week now, I bet.
Nah. I just bought the kids some sneakers.
There you go.
Last week, matter of fact.
There you go. It's a big difference now, So, I want him to be able to enjoy his money, but I also want him to learn the value of a dollar and not just give it away. You know what I mean? And in turn, expect me to keep paying for everything and him just be able to eat up his money. So you have to teach your children those things,
Yeah.
So go ahead. You were saying something.
Nah, so I just want to talk about, we always hear about strong mothers all the time, and they are strong. I salute all the mothers out there. My mom, Sharonda, my grandmother, both my grandmothers, you know what I'm saying? I'm blessed to have both my grandmothers in my life, my aunts, just everybody, cousins. But, I don't think men get a lot of credit and a lot of recognition for what men do and the weight that men carry. You know what I'm saying?
So true. It's so true. And I agree with that 100%. And there's a video that I'm going to talk to you about that I want you to show to maybe you're into it. I think it's going to be profound. But some of the things I wanted to discuss tonight, because absolutely men do not get the just due credit. I mean, there are many strong brothers out here raising their families. When Mother's Day come, I mean, we roll out the red carpet. When Father's Day come, you might get a tie. You might get a dinner,
Yeah, you might get a tie, a dinner. You might get a pair of socks.
Well, we got to start rolling out the red carpet for the men as well. Big up to the men and the fathers, the brothers, the strong brothers and uncles. Because so many times, how many... I like
shout out
that.
to the men, man.
Absolutely. How many times uncles step up to the plate?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and sometimes they don't get no recognition for that. I mean, the uncles sometimes take the place, the mother's brothers, and sometimes, mostly the mother's brothers, they come in and they just step up for the fathers that are absent. I mean, you got to give a shout out. I shout out to my brother. For crying out loud, he was paying Sammy's phone bill for years.
Right.
And the only reason why he stopped is because Sammy lost the phone. But I mean, for many years, Sam got his first cell phone because of my brother. And he not only gave him the cell phone, he paid for it for at least 7 years.
That's true.
Yeah. So shout out to, he said, let me just go ahead and look out for my nephew. So many uncles and aunties step in that sometimes don't get that credit like they should neither.
That's so true.
So here's what I was going to say. Here are some weights that are not talked about in families. The invisible parent syndrome, growing up too soon. This is a weight that I think even I'm guilty of. I'm transparent, but unfortunately, a lot of times, especially in an African-American community, we a lot of times are leaning on our older children to help out with the younger children. Look at Lawrence looking at me because he's the oldest. And we kind of expect
What you making that face for?
Uh-oh, yeah, I got my oldest granddaughter in here. She's looking like, yeah, I understand that plight. Uh, we kind of expect it. I'd be like, hey, you want to eat tonight, right? You better go over here and babysit.
Right.
So, sometimes that can, my sister, I remember her telling me she felt like she had a lot of pressure on her taking care of me. Even though I don't think I was that hard to take care of, but my sister
Right.
felt the pressure of that. How oldest children's become, the protectors and counselors and fixers. Did you feel like that sometimes as being the oldest?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Just being the oldest, having a responsibility. I learned how to change Pampers at a young age.
Yeah, you should. Yeah.
Yeah, all of us did. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a good thing, right? Because it taught me how to be a better father to my children, changing Pampers. The average man my age didn't know how to do the things I knew how to do because of the proper planning I had by being the oldest and having younger siblings.
Let me ask you this question. Did you ever feel like you was raising your siblings while your parents were still finding themselves?
Raising my siblings, I will say no.
Okay, good. Thank God.
I felt like I did help out a lot.
Yeah.
I felt like, you always say, don't I can't think of the slogan, but it was almost like, don't damage your younger siblings by your choices. Well, I'm just paraphrasing.
Right. That
being
they're
that
looking up to you.
They're looking up to you.
Yeah.
So like decisions I made, they're gonna start mimicking them eventually.
Right.
So I had that pressure of like, knowing that I had to keep my grades up because I played sports and I wanted to be out and about with my friends. So knowing that, you would take my car. I always said you was way harder on me than you was to Sammy.
Listen, I'm tired, for crying out loud.
Like,
I don't want to claim that.
She took my car, took me up the basketball team one year.
You know what? That's something though. This is the reason why I'm keep trying to stay in the mic because I always talk with my hands. It's so funny how when you're growing up and you are hard on your kids, you probably didn't like that when you was growing up, right?
But you appreciate it
But
now.
you appreciate it now. So then when you ease up, and I did, it's almost like now he's like, oh, you're a sucker now. Not me. He didn't say that, but he might as well say that, right?
Yeah.
You are not as hard on Sammy as you was with me, Cece, and I think you guys say you and Cece had it the toughest, right?
Yeah.
And Mimi too. I think Mimi fell in with y'all.
She got the tail end of it.
She got to say, okay, maybe so.
Yeah,
and when
she
you
got the
started
tail
to
end of it.
ease up, when I started to ease up, it was almost like, now, wait a second, they getting over like a fat rat. But when I was being hard, it was like, you're too hard. I can't do this. I can't do that. So those are weights on parents too. Those are those invisible weights that you're trying to juggle as a parent because you want to be hard on your kids because you want them to be strong and you want them to be responsible. And then they coming at you like, oh, you too hard on me. Or and then you're like, okay, let me ease up. And then it's like, well, no, now you're not hard enough on your, what the heck?
Right, you can't win.
You can't win. So here's the thing. So who carried you when you felt like you was carrying your siblings? How did you feel about, that's a question that we can ask the audience too. Who carried you when you been carrying everyone else in your life? Who carries you?
Well, when it comes to my siblings, I think, and it's different too because, I have older siblings and some that's around my age.
Right.
And, it's and I don't want to name drop anybody, right? But some of them have expressed that they looked up to me too.
Right.
And it's an honor when you have older siblings or siblings that's your age that look up to you based upon what you're doing and your character. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's also pressure.
Yes.
Because now you feel like you can't mess up.
Ooh, okay. I have that too because I'm not the oldest sibling. I'm not the youngest sibling. I'm actually the middle child.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I think me and my sister are the middle child because it's a set of twins and they're the babies. And if you was going to put them at the same exact age, then I am absolutely the middle child. But sometimes me and my sister feel like we're the middle child because the twins, one was born first, one was born second. What would you say? I'm the middle child?
Yeah, probably
okay.
so.
I think I'm the middle child. They said the middle child has all the problems.
But I think being the oldest is a lot of pressure.
I think so too.
And I try to have a conversation with my daughter because she's the oldest, and we put a lot of pressure on her too. And me and her had a conversation. Me and her had a daddy-daughter moment in the garage working out. She was crying, I was crying, and it was just me and her in the house, in the garage, in the little gym in our garage, working out. But we had a moment just where we just talking and just being transparent and being real. Because I think it's important for kids to see their fathers vulnerable,
Right.
because my kids always see me as daddy, as the man, as the leader. Hey, something's wrong, I'm calling my father, So they always see, not saying I'm always angry, but they always see dad as the protector,
Right.
and not seeing dad as, I'm fun with them, but, I don't think my kids ever see me cry. And, other than me being in the hospital or me being in pain, but, but they never see me cry just because we was having an intimate, emotional moment.
Right. And I'm actually a crier.
I am too.
I'm a crybaby. I'll admit that.
I am too.
I'm definitely a crybaby. I think that it's important to be vulnerable with your children. I think I had an even split. I was the disciplinary, but I was also hands-on with my kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I played a dual role. Like I was like, I'll hug you in a minute and we can play games. And boy, when I just had Lawrence, we was the best of friends. Boy, we would play basketball together. We'll play.
Mm-hmm.
I was hands-on with Lawrence. I was 21, so I had a lot more strength back then. I didn't have a lot of responsibilities as I have now. So we did a lot together when he was a child. But at the same time, I knew how to crack a whip at the same time when he needed it.
Right.
So I think it's that balance that you got to have.
And y'all please like, share, and comment. Please put at highlights, at followers. TikTok. Y'all please hit the hearts, get us some likes, hit them hearts nonstop.
Yeah.
And Facebook and Instagram, y'all please go crazy as well.
Absolutely. So I have a question for the audience.
Okay.
And I really would love to hear your impact. What did you need to hear from your parents that they never said?
What did you need to hear from your parents that they never said? That's a good question.
Yes. Are you prepared to answer that question?
Oh, man.
And it doesn't have to be me because you do got two parents. The pressure ain't got to be on me.
Yeah, of course you're going to say that, right?
Yeah, man. You do got a father,
Given the circumstances,
come on, jump in. Oh, yes, I want to hear. Come on, I need y'all to participate tonight.
What do I need to hear? I think when it comes to you, I don't think it was nothing that I needed to hear that you didn't already say.
Okay.
Because my mother always said, I love you. She always showed affection, love. She was tough, but she always, showed love and affection to all of us. We could honestly say we had that honestly.
Right.
And when she did, as she say, crack the whip on us, it wasn't like we knew it was coming out of malice or abuse. We knew that she loved us. We knew that she cared about us. She wanted the best for us.
Right.
Expectation was really high. I think for me,
right.
I couldn't get a C. Yeah, I believe I couldn't get a C. I could only get A's and B's. And now you can't get no C's either. I didn't listen. I didn't crack whip my daughter. But I think with my father, I know my father loved me. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But I also understand and understood. And again, it's important when you have a mother and father, when you are parents and you co-parenting, like my mother and father was. They was never married. They had me, but they was able to co-parent and coexist. And my mother was never the type of mother to like bash my father, no matter what silly things he may have done or I didn't like or whatever. Nobody's perfect, right? Just like he never bashed my mom, but if she does something silly or something that he didn't like, they never bashed each other in front of me.
Right.
So that was important.
Yeah, and the one thing I will say that I never did as a parent, if he complained about his dad and he had a legitimate complaint that was real, I didn't like make excuses for his dad. I would say, yeah, you got a legitimate point. You know what I mean? Like, I think I did that with all, like, I wasn't a parent that said, I'm not going to say nothing bad about you. I might not say it, but if you came to me with it and I realized it was truth, I didn't like lie for his dad.
No. Right. You did do that. I'm saying you didn't just say your father's a piece of,
no.
That's what I'm talking about.
No.
You didn't do that and he didn't do that.
No.
Even though, we had quarrels and stuff over the years, but if I had a legitimate excuse, I would come to you about it.
Right.
And you would say, you want me to handle it or do you want to handle it?
Right.
Do you want to talk about it? And sometimes I'll talk to my father, straight up, or my mom will talk to my dad.
Right, talking to me.
That was funny, but my dad, we could have real talks, to this day. If something bothers me, we'll have a man-to-man talk, father to son talk,
Right.
But I think the one thing my dad was never like really,
affectionate.
Yeah, affectionate. My dad was never emotional, never affectionate. Like, we knew he loved us. He loved us by showering us with clothes and, he gave us money and,
haircuts taking care of you,
taking us to school, picking us up. And my dad loved fashion and cars and,
I wonder where that came from.
Exactly. But it's just that, my dad didn't say a lot of I love yous.
No. Mm-mm.
That wasn't his personality.
Different
So,
languages of love is so true.
hmm
Everybody have a different language of love, and that's absolutely the facts. Different languages of love. So that's absolutely true. So I think when it comes to what you needed to hear, was there something that you needed to hear that dad didn't say? Could it have been I love you?
yeah, for
Okay.
sure. Absolutely.
Okay. That's a good I mean, we didn't get no
Absolutely.
audience feedback on that. Okay, but let me think on myself what I might have needed to hear. My mom too. She was extremely strong parent. Johnny on the spot with so much and always was there. We knew she loved us. My mom was not affectionate either. She is going to show up. She's going to show. I mean, like I said, I don't know if I said it on here. We just talked about it as a family. If you got hurt, mom, you're going to get yelled at if you got hurt
Yeah.
because she was so upset that you got hurt. Then she would just lash out, opposed to, yeah, just saying, "Come here, baby, let me hold you and kiss your boo boo." Mom
Right.
didn't do that. So, but she always showed up when you needed her. She's going to be there and still is actually.
Oh yeah. For
So,
sure.
you have any questions for the audience or for me?
Yeah. Um,
Oh, I got one.
I got one too. I'm trying to
Okay.
think which one. I got a couple of them actually. Um, when you think of the weight that you carry, what's the heaviest part for you right now?
I think juggling. I think because my kids, I have four, and sometimes, I think the hardest reality, and only two of my children are parents. Two of them are not parents. So I think the hardest thing for me to juggle as a mom. Do you mean like as a mom?
Just whatever.
Okay, well, I'll just speak to a mom, motherhood. I think the hardest thing for me to juggle sometimes is trying to explain to my all adult children that, because it's that sibling rivalry. And I want to talk about that today. Sometimes when you grow up with your children, certain personalities mesh better than others. So sometimes it's almost like, the kids are like, oh, so and so's your favorite, or you think they're your favorite. And it's like, you know what? I don't really get into that with my kids. Like, I don't have a favorite, but what I do have, I always tell my kids is I have a personality. So I love to talk. I love to be involved. And if you keep me involved, then honestly, we're going to mesh more. So the kids that talk to me more, wink, wink, those are the kids that you typically are, going to be closest to. However, that's kind of sometimes a weight because you feel like as a parent, especially when everybody's together, it's like everybody's watching who's mama going to talk to more. That's the
Exactly.
pressure of that. It's like, oh, come on, y'all. I love all of you guys equally, but
Equally.
at the same time, sibling rivalry is real, man.
It is. It is. It really is, man, because you just don't think about it like that because I don't look at it like that. I always say you baby Sammy and Mimi the most, but then everybody would say that I'm your favorite, and it's crazy how people have their own perspectives on things.
Everything is through a person's lens and how they see it, and that's the thing about life that's so beautiful. And sometimes it's a blessing and a curse because your perception or your reality is facts to you. You know what I mean? So, I think that's a lot of weight that mothers carry, fathers carry. In that sense, because I'm pretty balanced with all my kids. I'm a balanced individual. Period. You know what I mean? So,
I think for me, the biggest weight is just I don't know. It's just trying to oh man, I think the biggest weight trying to just discover like who I am.
right. Trying to find your purpose.
Yeah, like I feel like I have so many talents and
Right.
I think just trying to just redefine who I am.
Right. And that's really true because we have all these dreams and they don't stop because you turn 21. They don't stop when you turn 31 and they don't stop when you turn 51. Sometimes you still have this thing you're searching for. I think we're ever searching for our passions and our dreams. And it's no age limit to that. I think whatever you want to do in life, you should pursue it. No, it shouldn't be an age. I think I was just looking at somebody who graduated from college at, I think 80. And I was just so, man, I was like, somebody might say, well, what was that for? It was a passion that she accomplished, a goal. You know what I mean? So I think that's, we are forever trying to find that purpose in life. So let me ask you this question, and I'll also ask the audience this question. What did you wish your parents had seen in you?
Hey, what's up, Auntie Pat? She said, hey,
Hey,
nephew.
what's good? Shout out to my sister. She's on tonight.
What's the question?
Okay, what do you wish your parents had seen in you? What did you wish that maybe I had seen in you, your dad had seen in you? That's a question that I'm asking to the audience as well, because even though you're an adult, there's still some of those old wounds that we talked about on previous podcasts that still hurt. So what is it, if you had to sit down and think, something about yourself that you wish your parents seen in you?
Uh, I don't know.
Okay.
I
All right.
think
That's
I
fair.
think I think um just my efforts.
Mm.
You know, I think I really feel like I don't. I really feel like I'm just being transparent. I really feel like I'm not seen.
Oh, okay. That was in my opening. Okay.
Yeah,
By your parents or by people in general?
people in general,
Okay. Okay.
family,
Mm-hmm.
parents. People in general. Like I feel like sometimes I feel like I'm invisible.
Ooh, that was in my thing.
Really?
That was in my topic. When I opened
Yeah.
up. Mm-hmm.
Like I think right now my biggest struggle in my life
The
right
invisible
now
pressures.
is trying to. I think I need therapy. I think I need therapy, honestly, because
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like I just feel like I just feel like I'm just existing. I feel
Mm.
like I'm not living.
Isn't that amazing how someone else can see you and say, Lawrence is this, Lawrence is that, Lawrence is this, and then when you kind of when the curtain closes, when the curtain closes, you're left with just yourself
Hmm.
and your true feelings. Because life sometimes is stage. With all of us, we go to work. Sometimes there are times I go to work, I don't feel like being there, but when people walk through the door, hey, how are you?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So there's a stage in life that we all exist. So it's amazing. So that's something that you should seek. You know what I mean? So that because you find your footing, because
yeah,
it's important. You know what I mean? I mean, growth it's like water. It just keeps flowing. It should never stop. You might need to go hug a tree. Get some of that
yeah.
energy from nature. Um, the question that I asked is what I wish my mother and father would have seen in me. I think I wish they would have seen my joy, my talents. I think there was talents that I had that I felt like wasn't really nurtured
Mm,
properly. I wish that if I was the fly on the wall and I could speak, I would wish that my parents would see my talent and say, "Hey, I did something that she has. Let's go ahead and nurture that." I think that's something. Sometimes we get so busy, excuse me, in life with life that we just don't see our children's talents and purposes. I mean, you have a lot. Your kids are very talented.
oh yeah.
So
That's the other thing. I feel like I don't have, and again, I feel like I don't have the time that I desire to nurture the gifts.
right, right. Ooh, that's a good one. Do you feel like that in life sometimes? So the next question I would say is breaking the cycle. And how do we break the cycle of turning inherited pain into generational healing? I think that's the question that we have to ask ourselves. We're being transparent tonight. This is a heartfelt question. I mean, heartfelt topic of
Hmm.
just the weight of parenthood. So many people have been wounded from their parents, and here we are, adults. Lawrence is being transparent tonight. He's saying that he may need some therapy to deal with some things. I've been in therapy, so I think I'm doing pretty well. And it's very helpful. I applaud therapy, but we're talking real talk tonight. What is the weight of parenthood, siblinghood, all of those things that you are still carrying today that's affecting your life as an adult, even in the workplace, in your home life with your children, with your family members? Is there some hidden pain when you see your siblings? Is there some hidden pain when you see your parents? What is it about your parents that you're holding back that you wish they would see in you, was the question. So I'm rambling now.
No, you good.
I'm
And then you got to think
passionate.
about the mental load of parenting, like
Right.
just remembering appointments,
Right.
meals, homework, bills, all of that on top of trying to exist in society and do the things you have to do and what society said you should do and what social media said you should do and the things you should not do. And, it's just all those life's pressures and everybody's giving you their perspective of how things should go. So like just the mental load, and I think as a man, as a father, we have to carry those loads without complaining.
Right.
Because
Okay.
it's like, if you go and start complaining, it's like, oh man, you being a sucker, you being
Are you acting feminine? Or,
you acting feminine, or
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's like everything nowadays is all this
macho man.
no, just all these men are so feminine. All these men don't want to be men no more. And it's like, we talked about that even in the men group, like how men feel like they can't cry, they can't express themselves, they can't talk, and that's all a facade. You should be able to talk, express yourself, and truly express how you feel about something, right?
Right.
Not saying you should be, I don't want to use, just pretty much be able to express yourself. You know what I'm saying? And that's not common for most men, because most men are taught, don't cry, shut up, suck it up, be a man. And what is that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like what is that? So it's just one of those situations to where, as a man, I feel like we don't have the platform to be able to express ourselves, be able to talk about certain things that we feel.
Well,
And
they
that's
have
a
it
lot.
now. They have it now with Men's Matter. And what I wanted to jump on too is one of the reasons why, and I know I said this before, and I'm going to keep saying it. And that is the reason why I birthed Laugh a Lot. Laugh a Lot was birthed because people are dealing with so much pain, and they don't have a place to place it sometimes. And then it comes off as a mean boss. It comes off as an angry black woman. It comes off as an angry person, period. You don't smile. There are times when I just go out to the stores and I just watch people. I mean, people look so angry. And I'm like, I want to say sometimes, I have said it too. I've gotten bold and say, can you smile? Like, I mean, you are providing a service to people. You're working in public and you're so angry, but so many people are going through so much. And that's why I birthed Laugh a Lot, because I want to offer a space and a place where people can be vulnerable. People can, let out, and people can laugh. You ever laugh so much that your head is heavy?
Oh my God.
I mean, lightheaded, I meant to say, and you feel so dizzy. That is so good for you. So we have to get to a place where we are vulnerable and we are honest with ourselves. And that's the platform for Laugh a Lot. And I'm telling you guys, it's coming soon, and I can't wait to market it. And you just said there's a place, men need a place to be able to be vulnerable. That's Men's Matter. We're doing things. We're changing the trajectory of things. I'm telling you, we're doing it.
Yeah.
We're making a difference.
Right. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
What did your parents carry, or grandma carry, that you didn't realize until you became an adult?
I think my mom carried I don't want to prejudices that she experienced. My mom came from a multicultural background. Her dad was Sicilian, her mother was African American, and I think she dealt with some of the Sicilian side of her family saying certain remarks to her that impacted her as a child, and it started showing in her adulthood. So I think those are some of the things that she didn't realize, how those wounds affected her as a child, that sometimes it affects, it spills over into parenthood as an adult. You know what I mean? So I think that was probably something she dealt with that she didn't even realize until she got older and I was older, and we can take apart some of those emotions, pick apart some of those emotions.
That's deep. That's deep.
So I guess the question would be to the audience, because tonight's my son's birthday, family showing up, and we're in the studio where we can see the family showing up. And I mean, we went out and bought food, so you already know people ready to dig in.
With
You know what I
food,
mean?
we got food. Everybody start coming through.
Everybody's ready to dig in and enjoy. And this is important.
Okay.
I was going to say that I want you to really tonight, an audience, if you're listening, I want you to reflect on how you act when you walk out those front doors. When you go to work, how you show up. Are you walking in love? Are you smiling? Today, I don't know if you guys know, I'm in leasing management now, and I show apartments, and I do a whole lot.
Oh yeah.
And I'm doing a bunch of stuff. I met a woman. I taught her. She was 70 something years old. She loved. We talked. But she called me back today, and she said, "You know what, Elizabeth? I'm coming back to move here because of you." She said, "You were so kind. You were so happy. You took so much time with me. You kept smiling." And she goes, "And something else I want to tell you. I've done my research on you, and everybody said the same thing about you. You're so nice. You're so happy. You're so fun-loving." I'm like, who are everybody? You know what I mean?
Yeah, who's the everybody?
And she says, she goes, "I know a lot of people that live here." And she goes, "Everyone says the same thing about you. You're just such a pleasure. You're full of joy." And she didn't know that made my day.
Wow.
Because, that is how we are supposed to be, especially Christ-like. You know what I
Right.
mean? When no one's looking. I mean, we've all dealt with a terrible boss. We've all dealt with a terrible boss. So at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we are walking in love. We are being kind. You have no idea what one smile could do to somebody.
Oh yeah.
Just being kind.
Yeah. And going back to that question I asked you, I think, what did my parents carry that I didn't realize till I became an adult?
Okay.
I think for you, I think watching you work different jobs and working, you only work jobs to where you could be available for us.
Right.
So I think that was important.
Put my dreams on the side, right?
I think that was important to watch that. And me being a father now, and there's certain things I want to do that I just can't do right now.
Right.
Like I want to travel abroad and just freaking fly around the world.
Right.
That realistically I can't do because I got children, right? I want to pick up and move to a different place, but I gotta think about my entire family. I gotta think about this school, and what I'm saying. There's just so many things that I may want to do. Even when my oldest daughter was born, I had a scholarship to go play ball and go to school for nursing in Indiana.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I didn't take it. Why? Because I had a daughter.
Right.
I had a wife, and I was like, I got to stay here to be a father and a provider. So when I think about my father, watching him
Oh
do
man.
the things he do to this day, to provide and to make
Right.
money and to do the things he got to do for his family.
That's right.
But
That's
all
right.
those things I don't think I realized until I became a father
Right.
and a husband and a leader, for lack of better words.
Right.
And you got people that watch you and depend on you, and it's like,
Oh man.
it's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot. It is a lot of pressure. And then today, with so much, even for me, like the difference between you and my youngest son is like night and day because the times have changed. But I do want to say this to you tonight, and I want to say it to my children. I mean, this is what we're doing is history, right? This goes down in history. These videos will probably outlive us, right?
Oh yeah.
So the reality is, I want to say I was always honored, very much honored to make those sacrifices for my kids. It wasn't like it was something I just did because I didn't want to. I wanted to be available to my kids. And I'm so grateful and thankful that I made those sacrifices for my children because I walk around now and I look at them and I see some of the nuggets and the things that I planted in all of my kids. I see something coming out in all of y'all. So that's the reward of life, right? The reward of life is not success for me. It's not just monetary. My success is seeing my children successful. My success is seeing that, the things that I planted, and now I can see it growing through you guys. Like when I see Siane and Mimi and you with your children, I'm like, oh yeah, they're doing some of the things that, that I taught them, and they're making sacrifices, and you see the fruit of your labor. And so I was honored to do that.
Yeah, that was big. That was big, and that was definitely an honor. And I think that, what I'm saying, I think as kids, we don't understand the stuff that our parents do until they say, you'll see one day when you get older, or when you have kids, or when you get married, or what I'm saying. And now, boy, do I see it.
Right. It's like that electric bill, right?
Yeah, I'm like, Jesus Christ, But I'm grateful for life. I'm thankful. This is a good topic.
It's a very heartfelt topic, and it's something to make yourself to think about. When you walk out this door, because life, like I said, is somewhat like a stage. A lot of times, like I gotta find that picture with masks, because so many people wear different masks. We all do to a certain extent in life.
Oh, we talked about that in the men's group. The mask we wear.
The mask that we wear. So it's a picture that I found, and it's like this person is choosing what mask he's going to put on today. Am I going to put on a happy mask? Am I going to put on an angry mask? The sad mask? So. When you get outside, be mindful of what you do, what impact you're making. I mean, look at what that lady said about me. I impacted her just with kindness, so no matter how you might feel like you're not doing enough in your mind, you're making more of a difference than you probably could ever realize. So, and that's one thing that I always try to teach my kids is too, and we need to teach each other. Let's encourage each other. Let's be available to people, not just our family members. Because, my sisters are not just my blood sisters. Those are my girlfriends too. You know what I mean? So they are my sisters. So, get up in the morning and call somebody, encourage somebody, show somebody some kindness and smile. Not just somebody you love, even sometimes your enemy.
That's right.
You know, show them that you love them, because love is really what the scriptures tell us. It says love covers a multitude of sin.
Yep.
And it says that love, love never fails.
Yeah. Last thing I'm gonna share today, and we might do a part 2 of this because I got so much
Yeah,
left.
me too.
But I had to apprehend somebody today and close out a really big case. I was working, and it was an older guy. And long story short, he was hungry.
Wow.
And he was like, "Man, I'm hungry. I didn't eat since yesterday." And I took him to Burger King, got him a two. What's it?
2 for $5.
2 for $5 of some Whoppers, and he was so grateful for that.
Oh man, $5 and just being compassionate. That's one thing I do appreciate about my kids. Y'all are very compassionate people. And I'm, all my kids are very compassionate. I love that about my kids. They're very compassionate, and we all need to strive to be compassionate. I remember Pastor George said one thing: if we can just strive for one thing in life, and that would just be love.
Yeah, just be love. Just be love. But
just be love.
But you look at things like people judge people like, oh, he's this or she's that. But I tell everybody I talk to, like, there's no judgment. At any given point, I could be sitting in that same seat.
Right.
We all can. There's nothing because of God's grace, God's mercy, and somebody prayed for us. But we all fall short.
Absolutely.
So I tell everybody that, I treat everybody the same. I don't care what you've done. I don't care if I'm encountering you from a law enforcement perspective or just somebody I meet in the street. I'm going to try to always walk in love and just make sure that person walk away feeling like they feel valued.
And respected, right?
And respect.
Like, just because you made a mistake, because like you said, everyone makes mistakes. And so because I made a mistake and I'm being arrested for it, doesn't give you the right to disrespect me.
No.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Not at all.
That's good. So my last thing I want to reflect on is to say this: maybe healing your family line doesn't just start with an apology; it just starts merely with understanding. Because sometimes we wait a lifetime for an apology, but why don't we just step it up sometime and just say, you know what, I understand. I understand, and this way you can move on. You can move on. Because sometimes we get stuck. Like, he never said sorry. You never said sorry. You never said sorry. You never said sorry.
And people get stuck there.
You get stuck right there. But I'm going to say that one more time, and I want you to hear it. Maybe healing your family line doesn't start with just an apology. It starts with just understanding. And this way, the blockage is now open, and you can flow.
I like that. I like that. You listen. You dropped the mic with that one.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful. We didn't want to be on here too long. It's my brother's birthday, so we thank you guys for tuning in, for watching, for being with us tonight on this good old Monday. But we got chicken wings.
I don't know. My sister's on. She said you can drop on by, sis, if you want to come get some wings.
Yeah, come on by.
Come on by.
We got cheesecake. We got regular cake, cupcakes. We got macaroni, all kind of stuff. We got all
I guess you'll be waking me at 5 o'clock to do some walking, right?
Yeah, we got to do some walking. The fair just left. I ate so much food at the fair. Oh my God. But tonight's episode was really good. I think reflecting on topics like this, really, I need help.
Right.
Seriously.
Right.
I think I really need help. Just mentally, just trying to navigate through life and reflecting, being a father, trying to be a man, trying to go, yeah. So tonight's episode was really good. So I definitely appreciate it. We hope you guys enjoyed it. But yeah, to the next time.
To the next time, we appreciate you, and y'all have a blessed day. And send out some shout outs to Sammy. It's his 19th birthday.
If you want to bless his Cash App, you can send it to me, $Jones, JONES 7182, and I'll make sure he'll get the money.
All right. Peace, love, and walk against the current.
Absolutely. Y'all be blessed.
Peace.